Salute. What's poppin', Iraq? Salute. Pistol Gang. Rico Lorenzo. Felicia Cortez in the building. Salute. King Shine 120. Salute. Derek Rabati. Salute. Big Boy 4438, salute. You alive, salute. Tiki Bolo, salute. I'm in this vibe right now because I had to do a lot of research today. Battle Bigger Bill, salute. 631 in the building. Brad Hauser, salute Brad Hauser. You in a minute. Tilden House is in the building. Salute Tilden. Shout out Brownsville in East New York. Poppin'. That had me doing a lot of research last night. That was crazy. Drive-through exposes DJ Bush, Adrian Roman. Hey yo, what's poppin'? Huh? What's poppin', everybody? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting that up. It's winter time. It's why I woke up. Salute everybody. What's popping? What's going on? Yeah, I wasn't even going to do a live tonight. 3 Glocks, Billy Blocks. But what happened was I did my thing called digging in the crates. And what I did was my version of digging in the crates were the songs that were hot. But these dudes were basically like 1 or 2 hit wonders. So they song got buried in the crates. And I dug in the crates and I was pulling out songs, some bangers. But what happened was when I tried to put it on, like my list, they hit me. It was like, nah, you can't do it. So I gotta follow rules. And I had to take it down. But at the same time, you know, while I be up here, the same way I be speaking and giving people jewels, I be taking them too. You know what I'm saying? So I found it interesting when people were talking about the Nat Turner story. You know what I mean? Here it is. I've been locked up all the time. So now I never got to see all these videos and all these documentaries on Nat Turner and his history and all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when I was on the other day, somebody had mentioned, you know, about the Nat Turner stuff. And I actually was Pink Sugar. And she told me to look at this video. So I looked at the video and I gave Son his time and I listened to what he had to say. And from there, I just started going here, left, right, up there, down the third. And I was starting to basically lay my law game down. You know what I'm saying? I was shepherdizing. You know what I'm saying? And as I was shepherdizing, you know, I got to see some interesting things. KO, salute, KO. Yeah, we across the water today, you know what I'm saying? We gotta I had to take a trip to Jersey today, you know what I'm saying? But I like to see where I'm at also, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you ain't gotta be there, you gotta be far from it. And that's the reason why I used to always hop on the Staten Island ferry. I used to always hop on the Staten Island ferry and take it around up like that to Staten Island and look at the view. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times you don't see how beautiful the city can look. You know what I'm saying? Because you live in the city. You know what I mean? So you got to go outside the box. But like I was saying, so I did my research, right? Now, but then it opened up the door. Because as I was doing the research on Nat Turner, other things came up. And it made me go into those things too to see if they correlate. You know, a lot of people know that history has been tainted, it's been remixed. There's a lot of things that's happened in history that we can only have an opinion to. And, you know, it's crazy because you think about it and you look at it and you say, damn, that means we'll never have an answer. We'll never be satisfied, should I say. Because that's basically what it's going to go down to. Are you satisfied with the answer you get? So now, as I was reading, I noticed something in they brought it to my attention when last time I was on the live. And it was about the book of Nat Turner. And yes, they were correct. The book was fiction. So being that it was fiction, they don't have no autobiography or anything that he wrote. In the Confessions of Nat Turner, they talking about the lawyer dude, but it's also evidence that that wasn't even his lawyer. So it comes to questioning why wouldn't his own lawyer write something and this other lawyer did, and now I see from other perspective where they would say, yo, you can't believe what this dude is saying because um salute loyalties, everything. They're like, yo, you can't believe everything that this dude is saying because he wasn't the direct lawyer for Nat Turner. But once I came up with my synopsis of what happened, like I said, it opened the door because then I started to see trends. And I'm going to tell you about those trends in a second because they relate to nowadays. But my synopsis from the information that I went ham. I'm talking about I only came out probably one time today that I went to go get something to eat. You know what I'm saying? And because I was in there, I was really searching and searching and searching, and I was getting some answers that matched, some answers that diverted. I was getting all the perspectives coming from not only just the difference in genders, but the different in races and everything else. What I found out was that, you know, like I said, my synopsis is, right? My synopsis is that there was such person as Nat Turner. I don't think he was a fictitious person that was made up. There was such person as Nat Turner. The problem was that event itself is a tragic event from both scales. You see what I'm saying? Because we're talking about an event that could be a massacre, actually considered a massacre. You know, the way they were massacred and the way they massacred the slave masters and their family. But the thing that I don't think they wanted everybody to know was, I don't think they wanted anybody to know about the skinning part. The part where they use his body as trophies, and you know, this was like because it goes so deep into the hatred. You know, it goes so deep into, you know, what a person is thinking at the time that they reading this type of stuff. Now remember, if y'all remember, I told y'all when I was in the box in Southport, I had a young kid next to me. And just like Wildlife said when he came up on here before, anybody that was around me, you know what I'm saying, and they were young, I always used to hit them with books. And this one kid read the book on George Jackson, Blood in My Eye. And when son came out the cell, he said it on the police. So you see what kind of power a person's words, whether it's in a book or if it's spoken out of their mouth, can hold on an individual. You see what I'm saying? And as I was looking at that, I was thinking to myself, right? I think that they wanted to erase that day, period. I think that they don't want history to reveal what really happened on you know, with the uprising and the result of those captives. They don't want that to be that's the same way like it's a mystery, right? And really it's not a mystery because everybody depicts it the same way but leaves out that one piece. Have you ever noticed that when you read in a book, any type of history book about when, you know, the Spaniards came onto these islands, it never says how they were greeted. Do you ever notice that? It never says how they were greeted, meaning when they came on the beaches, how were they looked at by the Indians? Now, I've seen where it will say that the Indians, because they never saw people with armor and spears and cannons, they thought that they were God. They thinking that they were God. Now, I read that before, and that's theoretical. but it's still a mystery as to what happened on those beaches. You see what I'm saying? Because you're coming, imagine, you saw how they were, what they own. If you come into someone else's territory, you got problems. And they was on it where they was killing people's villages and all that. So these people, they coming out of nowhere, different color skin. Well, how were they greeted when they came on the beach? And they started to go into the woods. You see what I'm saying? And that's where there's a little bit of a mystery at. They theoretically say that when they came on the land, they were greeted by the Indians because the Indians was thinking that they were higher powers, and then they took them to the villages and everything, that and third. But we also got evidence that they was on those ships and they was hungry. They was starving. They didn't have food. And they was actually practicing cannibalism on those ships. I read a book on that. It's called The European Holidays by Dr. Barashangu. No, I don't know how many people have read that book before, but so I think with the Nat Turner story, basically what happened was they don't want people to know what really happened. Some kings respected their enemies so much that they thought that they were warrior gods and would burn their enemy and give his ashes to their best generals to make his generals warrior gods too. Facts, Church Ab Dan. I read that too yesterday. They were greeted like as if they were extraterrestrials because nobody ever seen a white man. Okay. The run-out situation, whole colony disappeared. First colony set up in New America. The Roanoke situation. Okay. I mean, I still believe that as far as in fact, it was more natives here than them. They reverse history. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So it's interesting. Did they come and invade the islands? You see what I'm saying? Did they come and invade the islands? They came in by force. You see what I'm saying? So that's a question that holds a little bit of common sense when you look at the way the situation arose. So I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, So I believe that there was such thing as I believe that Nat Turner did exist. They were saying about him, but if you remember, right? If you look at, for example, here's something that's interesting about that Nat Turner story. They say that he had premonitions, right? I gotta go to. All right. They said that he had premonitions and that something with the moon and the eclipse. Yo, they got so crazy with it where I was saying to myself, like, hold up. The man saw his parents killed by slave masters. He became the leader of a slave revolt. They went ham in on their slave masters. In return, the slave masters did the slaves that they caught dirty. He escaped for a little while, but then one of his own farmer went and saw him coming out of the little hiding place that he had, and he was like malnourished. You know, it's interesting. But what I would say is that they just don't want us to know how gruesome that event itself was. That event itself might have been more gruesome than what we have ever seen today. Think about it. We see Jim Jones, he poisoned all his peoples and they all died. They all died in their sleep or whatever. You saw them people at the that camp. Um, Anybody remember that camp? What was the name of that camp? Where they was up in there and they went at it with the feds and they ended up killing everybody in that camp. They nearly wiped out the Indians and created a new mixed race of Spanish, African, and Native Indian, Taino. That's Waco. That's a fact. Hey, your Lobos United. That's good. That's good. That's good knowledge right there. Waco, Texas. Yes, that was in Waco. You see now, but look, all those situations deal with, they coming in and killing anybody, or a person that tricked his own people into killing themselves, or killed them all, without them even knowing, or however it was that it went down. Because I got to do a whole 100% research on that. I know I read about it. They all drank something, right? But now I'm looking at it and I'm saying to myself, like, this is an interesting situation here. Because we talking about a point in history where two big events happened back to back, both massacres. One massacre after the other. You see what I'm saying? Cyanide in the Kool-Aid. That's a fact. Metaphors Odat. He also killed a politician. Him and his man shot them up. That's a fact. So that's the reason why the Nat Turner story has no autobiography to it. Because, back then they probably said, listen, man, this can't get out. Bloody Luciano Joe Rivera. Salute, Wildcat. My shirt fire. Thank you. Oh, salute, Bloody Luciano. Appreciate you, bro. That's a fact. For everybody that got the shirts, man, I've been getting hit in the DM. If you still need the shirts and all that, hit me up. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I got some new colors coming out also. So just hit me up on your size and all that. You know what I mean? I got hoodies too. I just sent out for a fresh box of hoodies. You know what I mean? So for those that's waiting on hoodies, it's just taking a little longer because I had to wait. I had to get the hoodies shipped from across seas to come over here. Because over here, the material that they do it with, when you put stuff on it, the material is type weak. So I just decided to get it from overseas where I could pay for bulk, and it'll be much easier. So I got those hoodies coming, y'all. Don't worry about it. That's definitely coming this week. But yeah. So what happened with that story is that they don't really want everybody to know what really happened because it was two massacres, one behind the other. And both massacres contain innocent people. And you can't say the kids that died in those massacres were guilty of anything. Only the skin of their color, their skin color diverted them from sides. You see what I'm saying? But this is two massacres that happened back to back behind this man. So you got to look at what he did. What did he accomplish? What he accomplished was he made one of the most highest range revolts that you could even think of. Because they killed a lot of people, yo. But imagine all the people that, were getting killed throughout that time too. That weren't strong enough to work, that was dying of thirst, that was dying of hunger. So it goes both ways. But the reason they don't really want to put anything out on that is because they told everybody to hush up on that. That's what happened. That's why he has no burial ground and none of that. They did that man dirty. But what he did, he had to pay, and he paid dirty. So they don't want it out there. So that's a part of history that we're never going to know about because it's always going to be controversial. is always going to be somebody's story. So that one is called His Story, meaning HIS space TORY. His Story. You see what I'm saying? And that's the reason why it's always going to be controversial with the Nat Turner story. But I believe that there was a Nat Turner, and I believe that the events of the Nat Turner story are just gruesome and tragic to have ever been documented or be told. Because from both sides, it was devastating. And that's what I think happened. That's why they say, yo, everybody, that's it. His body ain't never going to be found. Ain't nobody going to be able to praise him. None of that stuff is going to happen. And they ain't going to know what we did to him. And they ain't going to know what he did to us. Big Boy 4438 said, bro, there's many revolts that never made the history book. Oh, yeah, I know that. You got to remember back then it was territorial for real. All they did was fight and kill for the territories that they claimed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had their piece of land. It wasn't a bargaining chip with the pieces of land. The way they did it was, listen, that piece of land, we're going to take that. We got our army, we got our guns. At the end of the day, they can't beat us. We're going to take that. Whoever going to join us. Whoever don't, die. Our country broke their word multiple times regarding peace treaties with the Native Americans. I was reading on that too today. John Horse. Nah, I met it for Doc. Tell me about John Horse. Him and the Seminoles took over a fort in Florida, was getting busy. Okay. They did Nat Turner like the English did William Wallace, cut up their body, no gravesite. I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened too. That's why there's no information on Nat Turner. You know what I'm saying? That's deep. That's very deep. That's very deep right there. But then something else popped up on there, and then I started to look at that too. You know, some of his own slave people, they were snitching on him. Word. There was some of them snitching on him too. And then from there, they gave me a link, right? And when I went to the link took me to Malcolm X. I was crazy. I was bugging out. And it also took me to Jesse Jackson. So now when it goes to Jesse Jackson, I'm bugging out because I'm saying Jesse Jackson. And then I look at the link, and the link is telling me notable activists who were FBI informants. Now, that's the crazy thing about this computer. Like, when you Googling one thing, it takes you to another. John Horse gained his initial fame for joining with Marasaki, brave name WILDKAT, Kochi, the son of Moloki chief, King Philip Amantha, in executing a daring escape from the fort. Oh, okay. I'm going to check that out. Metaphors, old doc. I'm going to check that out. I'm going to definitely check that out. Degmark Vesey. All right, I'm going to Google that one too. So I was reading all these dudes, and then what pops up is this. This is what popped up. I was bugging off of this here. So, matter of fact, hold up. Before I even get to this, no, I'm going to do this first and then get to that. Right? So check this out. So they said, why Martin Luther King distrusted Jesse Jackson. So it says, this April marks the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Memorials will be held. Scholarships will be dictated. Legislative resolutions will be passed. Books will be published. and documentaries will be released. The tragic events of April 1968, including both the killing of King and the false blame attributed to James Earl Ray. Many may have forgotten that King's death also marked the dubious rise of Reverend Jesse Jackson. King had accepted an invitation to speak at the church of Reverend Clay Evans on the south side of Chicago in 1966, where Jackson, having met King in Selma, Alabama in 1965, and always wanted to seize an opportunity, pushed himself closer to King throughout the visit. He picked up King up at the airport and hobnobbed with his team enough to learn and earn a staff job and annual salary of $3,000 from the King organization. Despite his official inclusion on King's staff, King soon found himself unimpressed with aspects of Jackson's personality. He was especially troubled with Jackson's reflexive ability to escalate encounters with government officials, police departments, and innocent bystanders. So peep this out. I'm going to stop right here just for a second. So Jesse Jackson wanted to get close to King, so what he did, he started being his driver. And as he was his driver, he was starting to learn about King because now he's close to him. But he was always the first to want to start drama with the government and with rivals, knowing that violence is going to turn out from it eventually if you keep on coming with the shots. And he knew that out of everybody, Martin Luther King is not going to defend himself because he believed in everything being peaceful. But what we see him next to Martin Luther King, we're looking at it like, yo, they good money. It's what they wanted the public to see. And what the public saw was like, oh, they good money. They friends. You know what I mean? They a tag team, like the Hart Foundation. In the mob, usually the driver is next in line to run the show after the boss isn't boss anymore. Yeah. And I think that was the philosophy that Jesse Jackson had in his mind. You see what I'm saying? Now, it further goes on to say, it said, no matter how hard Jackson may have worked to get to the front line of luminaries within the late 1960s civil rights movement, he lacked one thing that King's closest confidants possessed. Jackson wasn't a man of cloth. Dr. King told Jesse that everybody who worked in the movement was a minister, said Hurley Green, a former speechwriter, columnist, and friend of Jackson. So Jesse went to seminary for 6 months, dropped out, and called himself a minister. So he went to the school, dropped out, and still called himself a minister, like he graduated from there and had everybody believe that. See that? Jackson's limited time spent at Chicago Theological Seminary was verified by Chaplain A. Knighton Stanley, who stated that Jackson was not committed to the church, nor had he discovered a true vocation. Jackson had even failed to fulfill the required class on sermon writing and delivery that one would think would be important for someone truly interested in the ministry and communicating with his flock. So now what they're saying is that they was watching his movements, and basically what he was showing was he had an agenda when he came in there. His agenda wasn't what he was really what was showing. So he'll go to the church, play all that off and everything, but he was basically aiming for the seat. And he wanted to be next to King because he knew the closer he is to him, the easier it is for him to kill him or to get rid of him. Facts, big boy, 4438. Right? Then it goes on. Then Jackson later clarified why he attended CTS for the time that he did. I decided to go to the seminary to learn how to do without the law, to change society, to change it in deeper ways, he said. The distrust and exasperation King had with Jackson continued through 1968. In Memphis, 1 week before the assassination, King made a decision to cancel participation in the demonstration that he believed could turn violent. Jackson, in front of King and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, boisterously disagreed with King's cancellation of the march. So basically, Jesse Jackson, he's riling everything up. He's trying to be that man, and what he's trying to do, he's trying to be that man by all means necessary. Martin Luther King is against that. But all this time that he's doing this dude is an informant. That's where it gets deep at. Because he's doing all of this, and he's an informant. So he knows that his action can cause the death of the person next to him, but he knows that he's protected. So it says, angry at Jackson's response, King walked out of the meeting. The team neared the breaking point with Jackson as they, as Timmerman wrote, mistrusted his ambition, his audacity, and his refusal to be a team player. They could have never imagined the depths to which Jackson would sink a week later. They said as King lay dying, check this out. Check this joint out right here. This is where it gets crazy. As Martin Luther King lay dying on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel, Jackson claims, as has claimed since 1968, that he was the last to speak to King and cradle King's head as he died. Jackson then appeared on Chicago television the next day wearing a bloody turtleneck that he said was stained with the blood of the fallen civil rights leader. King associates have always challenged Jackson's self-described role on that day as fabricated and distasteful. Jackson in reality was in the parking lot below. Critics also claim that Jackson went so far as to wipe King's blood on his shirt for the sole purpose of going on television the next day to build his own legend. After King's death, the leadership of the SCLC fell into the hands of Martin Luther King's chosen successor, Ralph Abernathy. Jackson almost immediately clashed with Abernathy, about whom Jackson famously exclaimed to be a biographer, Eddie Stone. I never listened to that nigga. Abernathy isn't the only civil rights leader to incur the wrath of Jackson's ambition. There have also been conflicts with Minister Louis Farrakhan, Reverend Al Sharpton, and former Atlanta Mayor Andrew Young. If anyone challenged Jackson's stranglehold on the role of civil rights media darling and ace pundit, Jackson viewed them as a threat. So now if you see that, this dude was state power hungry. Dude was straight power hungry. And he was so power hungry that he knew who he had behind his back, but he wanted to start trouble. Because if he start the way Martin Luther King was like, yo, we can't go about it that way because we're not going to win like that. We last longer going this way. And if they do something to us, at least, we can say it was them. Jesse Jackson is like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to have enough information to give these people, and I'm not going to be credible, confidential informant. Unless I got some seasoning to give these people, to season up their little theories. Facts. Carlos Perez, that's why he went for president. Dude was a straight power hungry dude. Now, from that link, it went to another one. They say on February 21st, 1965, in New York City, Malcolm X, an African American nationalist and religious leader, is assassinated by rival black Muslims while addressing his organization of Afro American Unity at the Audubon Ballroom in Washington Heights. Born Malcolm Little in Omaha, Nebraska in 1925, Malcolm was the son of James Earl Little, a Baptist preacher who advocated the black nationalist ideals of Marcus Garvey. Threats from the Ku Klux Klan forced the family to move to Lansing, Michigan, where his father continued to preach his controversial sermons despite continuing threats. In 1931, Malcolm's father was brutally murdered by the white supremacist Black Legion, and Michigan authorities refused to prosecute those responsible. In 1937, Malcolm was taken from his family by welfare caseworkers. By the time he reached high school age, he had dropped out of school and moved to Boston. Now, I'm reading the story on Malcolm X, and basically, he was killed by his rivals. If you notice, right, a lot of people would say that there is an eye seeing things and there is a hand moving things. You just don't see it. You only feel it and understand it where they want you to feel it and understand it. And that's crazy. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy when you look at it, you say to yourself, they don't need that much because people kill themselves. They could play minimal roles and cause enough damage because the damage is already there. It just needs a little bit of a boost. And the reason why I say that is because, for example, look at, for example, how this YouTube thing is. And as y'all should know, ladies, a bunch of things going on. It's a bunch of stuff going on lately. But me, I'm the type of person that always sits back and I analyze things and I look at things for what they are. But I also look for motive. You know, when you study law, one thing you got to look for is motive. It's the puppet and puppet masters pulling the strings from behind the scenes. A little season, that's all it takes. That's a fact. Assassin BX. Everybody, it's like, yo, the YouTube streets is full of a bunch of controversy. And they see all those controversies. They see them all. And the main reason why is because dudes come and they put it on the net. Once you come on, let me reiterate something, because a lot of people have asked me about this, and they asked what did I mean. When you put it on the net, you address it on the net, you automatically is letting them know. You're letting them know there's something going on. They don't got to work hard. They don't got to work hard because they see what's going on. If they see that it's not going to go anywhere and they wanted to, they're going to plant the seed. And this is one thing I tell everybody. I say, yo, I got to be careful, man. Y'all got to be careful, because while y'all be on the net beefing with each other and all this other crazy stuff, Y'all don't know. There's a movie. I don't know if y'all ever seen the movie called Cabin in the Woods. How many people in here saw the movie Cabin in the Woods? Anybody in here saw the movie Cabin in the Woods? So you saw it, right, Brad Hauser? In the movie Cabin in the Woods, they got this group of people and they, going through the woods. And all these monsters and stuff is coming out. But they're coming out because there's people. They got cameras all over the woods and inside those cabins. And they're setting these people up for the monsters to kill them. Because they see what's going on. Everywhere they try to go, they got the camera on them. They see where they're going. Mark Thomas said, peace over my days to hear stories about you in the hood. It's a blessing to hear your story from the source. Keep putting on for the Billies. All the time, Markel Thomas. So now, when dudes is on this net and they start going crazy and saying certain things, you basically incriminated yourself. Because now what happens is that when you incriminated yourself, you also incriminated the person you're going at. Because by you telling that person or going at that person in the manner that you're going at them, you're already out of pocket. You're out of pocket. My bad. I'm thinking the house outside. Oh, nah. It's a cabin in the woods. One thing, when I watch movies for the motive in the movie. What is the plot? When I saw that movie Cabin in the Woods, I said that was the whole plot of that movie is basically that if they see what you're doing, you're easily to kill. You see what I'm saying? So, I've been on the, like I said, I've been on the net watching stuff going on, man. And it's crazy because I say to myself, like, me usually when I go at a dude, I'll just go ham on him, you know what I'm saying? And then I'll just leave it alone, and that's a wrap. So I'm not gonna waste my time on that, but at the same time, if it gets to the point where it's on the net all the time, you got to remember that there are people watching, and they watching for a reason. Because now, me coming from where I come from, the experience that I got, I know how they move. A fisherman sees another from afar. That's true. That's a fact, Assassin BX. I be knowing. That's why I don't fall for it. But this is historical. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Church Abdan. This is historical. When everyone is chasing something, whether it's the dollar, whether it's the prize, when everyone is chasing something, it's never unified. It's always every man for himself. And a lot of time when it's like that, it just causes trials and tribulations. And the trials and tribulations that you see come from a bunch of methods of execution. Somebody just, not at me, but bust a shot at somebody. You know what I'm saying? You got to be more careful because, like I said, I look at all the podcasts, and I'm not talking about just New York. I look at LA podcasts. I look at podcasts on cooking, podcasts on CNN, podcasts. I look at different podcasts every day. And as I'm looking at the podcasts, I'm just saying to myself, I'm looking at what they're saying. There are some people that are more of a threat than others. Some people are more or less of a threat because they commit so many mistakes that any day they could just snatch them up. So they don't use their money and their resources on those. They want the ones that are hard to get. It's true, LTO 88 Red Skulls. It's true. That is so true, bro. That is so true. That's the reason why. Yeah. That's the reason why I like to stray away from that. If you notice, my channels are something way different. Because the same method is easier to apply now because you got less stronger people. See, back then they had to really go hard to get those type of people. Nowadays, you don't have to try that hard. Nowadays, it's more easier. And it really shouldn't be that way, but it's like that nowadays because the strength of the masses is weaker. Salute, Corey Kings, Buck 50. The masses are weaker, and being that the masses are weaker, it's easier to plant seeds of destruction. It's so much easier nowadays to plant a seed of destruction. You don't need much effort. Man is weak because of emotion. That's a fact. You know, I hear that a lot all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I look at things from a perspective. We're still learning. I know I still am. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be still learning because I learn something new every day. Markel Thomas, that's a fact. I'm working on that now, Markel Thomas. But you know, I mean, me growing up, I knew about these stories when I grew up, as a kid, because those type of things were interesting. The things that make you go, You know what I'm saying? And as I was growing up, this is the reason why my mentality was so different. You know what I'm saying? Facts, loyalty is everything. So a lot of times, you know, if we get stuck in the simple cliche, we will never make it to our successful agenda. That's what happens a lot of times. We're stuck in these cliches, and we're so oblivious to what we really need. The fact is, we're all at war against the powers that be who are making vaccinating our children with poisons that kill our kids mandatory. It's not about color. That's just a divide and conquer tactic. That's a fact. That's a fact. You know, I posted a video on Instagram. I don't know who saw it, but I posted a video on Instagram. It's called Love More, Hate Less. And it was a picture that was sent to me from a friend of mine overseas who happened to see through his camera a plane that took off And I don't really remember what he said happened, but the plane was going up in the air. And it got stuck in the air for a second, and then it came down and blew up. Everybody died on the plane. You know, that's crazy. And the reason I put love more, hate less is that while people challenge themselves and each other and go at each other so much with so much hatred, there's people that just die out of natural causes. Whether it be that the engine failed, whether it be whatever it be, it wasn't by the hands of another man, but by the act of a certain force. So while people are so busy hating each other, we losing people without even having to hate them. That's true. Loyalty is everything. Facts. You know what I'm saying? And that is the problem. I saw somewhere a girl was saying she was in a restaurant, and she said she was in the restaurant and she saw a guy was looking at her, and she said that she thought the guy looked cute, but she said that all he did was look at her. So when she finished her food, she got up and left, and she did the video right before she left the parking lot. She said he could have came to me and he could have hollered at me. I probably would have said yes. I thought he was type cute. You know what I'm saying? She said the problem now is everybody's so stuck on the phone and texting, and everybody acts so like it's not normal to go up to somebody and talk to them like it's a crime, like it's something bad when you go to talk to them, because now everybody is so into the phone that he lost a chance of getting some of her. And she was like disappointed because she's saying he could have came over here and hollered at me. But bet if he would have found her number on the floor and he would have called, bet he would have spit some game while he was on the phone. That's how bad communication has got. It's gotten to the point where you could be on the street, and if you say hi to somebody, they thinking that it's something. There's something bad. There's a no good intention in that. Technology is the new golden calf of the Bible. I remember that, Carlos Hernandez. The golden calf. I remember about that. Especially in New York. But that's crazy. That's how bad the communication has gotten. So basically what they're saying now, if you're going to holler at a shorty or a chick or whatever, you got to get her number and holler at her through a text. You can't talk to her face to face. If you talk to her face to face, that's inappropriate. Wow. That's showing where the communication level is at. You can't holler at nobody in the street no more. And I'm not talking about, yo, hey, yo, shorty, yo, your ass is fat. Boom, boom, boom. Nah, I'm not talking about that. Alan Chan said, nah, you can, but you have to be cool. I don't know, bro. I'll be watching. Look, when I go to the city and I get off and I go right down to 40 Deuce, and I get conversations with people for two reasons: because I used to work marketing, and because number two, a lot of people that be down there are tourists. But you got a lot of pompous people nowadays, and they're being pompous because they have control of the way they want to communicate. If you could communicate on the phone, but you can't communicate in person, then you do have some type of antisocial problem. You can't say that that's not being antisocial because you text on the phone, that doesn't make you social. Because you don't want to look the person in the eye, or because you don't want to make the decisions because you might be disappointing the person. That's all called being real. That's called being real. If you gotta text somebody to tell them something that you can tell them in person, is that real? I don't think that's real, yo. I mean, texting is good. Like, for example, if your significant other, of your girl, your man, or whatever, if he's over there, if he's at another borough working or whatever, boom, you text him, yo, what's up? Everything good? Yeah, all right, boom, 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 all right. That I understand. But if a person comes to you and says, hey, hi, how you doing? I like those shoes you wear. They nice. Thank you. Some of them might be like, give you that look, and you're like, whoa, the hell did I do? Because they're so stuck on this social media. And I think that was the whole primary goal of the social media, to get everybody on there. Because if they can get you on here, they can see you. They can feel you out. And I used to read about this in all the New World Order books. And be like, yeah, they're going to make a movie about it. And in a way, I think they did. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you like this. You know, there's a lot you can learn. You hit it on the nail, Wildcat. Yeah, I'm just keeping it real. If you can't talk to somebody because the person you're about to talk to is already judging you and giving you an impression like you're doing something wrong, that's terrible. That's terrible because you should be able to communicate with somebody. And if y'all don't agree or whatever, then you just keep it moving, and that's that. I know how some girls be saying it. Yeah, sometimes we say no thank you and we try to walk away and the person will keep coming back or whatever. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit thirsty right there. Understood. But everybody ain't like that. And number two is, without communication, you never really understand the person you're with until you're really with them. And then when you're really with them, you done how you say it, you done dedicated yourself to that person. And when you find out the person ain't even no good, now you stuck with that person, or you got to tell the person, nah, we ain't doing this, and now it becomes a drama because y'all never had communication to begin with. Y'all was always on the phone, and that's funny because back then it used to be like, yo, I'm gonna take Shorty out. We're gonna go get something to eat. We're gonna walk down the block, walk over here, whatever. We're gonna make out. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do whatever we do. But everything's going to be physical. Now, they'll say, I don't really know you, but I've been texting you for like 3 days, but I still don't know you. What? Time out. So you telling me that we've been texting for 3 days, but you don't know me? What? Nah, bro. We ain't playing those games. Poof! Be gone! A-hole. I can't say it, you know what I mean? We ain't doing those, we ain't playing those games. What is this, a chit-chat convention? Because well, I will be like this. I will be like, yo, listen, how you, yo, what's up? More or less, bam, 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 we kick it in and everything. If we last a whole day texting already, all right, next day, where you at? Because if we gonna do the next day texting again the whole day, and the next day again yo, time out. Man, who you think this is? What are we on Instagram now? What are we gonna get, a group chat or something? Nah, bro. Where you at? Let me holler. You know what I'm saying? Technology made us lazy. That's a fact. But it also hides people. Peter Lopez said, you don't really know a person until you do one of three things: live with them, do business with them, or travel with them. You know what I'm saying? Because it gets it's bogged out, y'all. I remember before, like when before, I used to be, before I got locked up, I used to be hitting chicks, whatever, on these different sites and all that, whatever. And all they want to do is talk. And I used to be there like, yo, I'm saying, where you at? Oh, I gotta do this with my mother and this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. Then they keep on talking, blah, 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 blah. And I'm over here like, come on, bro. Click. Let me see who else, who want to talk that I'm going to see. Because that's what happens nowadays. People take advantage of the phone and they be yapping all day for like 3 days straight. And they think that they know you because they text with you for 3 days straight. They will never know you until they see you personally, until you're in front of them. Because anybody, you could be texting somebody and while he's sleeping, it's this man texting you. I done had that happen before. I'm texting the chick, and her friend is next to her. The chick don't fall asleep. It's her friend that's texting me back, and I'm starting to notice, like, hold up, why she acting funny? Like, she acting different. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna know the person until you meet the person personally, face to face. You know what I'm saying? There's sometimes I done been on Fordham Road. Anybody from the Bronx know Fordham Road. You could be walking on Fordham Road. You walking on Fordham Road, you see a girl and she look good, and you like, damn, man, for real? And she'll look at you with the ice grill like, I can't believe he said that to me. Huh? What? Now I know why they keep making all these movies where these dudes are taking these girls and they got them in these barns and they killing them and doing all kinds of crazy stuff to them. They putting cameras in the hotels. When you're looking at, look, for the past week I've been watching mad movies. And when it comes to that particular plot right there, dude that just keeps killing girls, they got a lot of those movies, yo. They got a lot of those movies. Why do you think they got a lot of those movies, man? Because it's the way the director feels about the way women are. Because why would he write that story? You don't got to ride the bandwagon of all the other ones. Sleepaway Camp, Camp Dread, Evil Dead. You could go on and on and on and on and on and on. Melinda Castro says serial killers. You see what I'm saying? Communication is a problem nowadays because we don't got so caught up with technology. The technology has taken over the little bit of morale that we have for each other. And that's what makes people so pompous. That's what makes people so pompous. Yeah, April, that was a classic. I'm watching Tubi TV, so I've been watching mad movies, new and old. I've been going back and forth. But when it comes to that, yo, you hear me, April? When it comes to that subject right there, nah, y'all can't do that. Just step your game up. All women love money. That's a bad one there because salute, see, that's a bad one there because if she's after your bread, shit. When your bread go down, don't count on her staying. Venezuela racing, I got my J's on Fordham. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? Like, communication is a big problem, and that's the reason why there's so much drama on the net, and that's why there's so much drama in the world. Period. It's because we lack in proper communication, and communication has gotten worse with the introduction of technology. I be binging off Tubi. That's a fact, Melinda Castro. That's what I be watching, Tubi TV. I got it on my phone and I got it on all my TVs. Still no sign of Iraq, huh? Okay, I'll be back. Shout out WILDKAT. Salute. One phone call away. What happens to that? Hey, yo, think about it, bro. Think about it. Now, I noticed that in a lot of big cities, like in small towns, like I know where I'm at. I don't think it's too hard to talk to somebody where I'm at because most people are friendly. But when you're dealing in the big cities, you know what I'm saying? It's way different because there's such a pompous attitude with people. Such a pompous attitude. And what makes it even worse is that some of the girls that have a pompous attitude know that they can have a better man, but they'd rather stick with the dude that's either using them, abusing them, or doing them dirty. That's another thing that messes things up. That's part of the communication that we lack. A lot of females are quick to suck their teeth and look at you all crazy. But guess what? They're in a situation that they don't even like, and they don't have the heart to get up out of it. Everyone I know who has big money has big miserable problems. Money can make you dislike society and want to break away from it. That's a fact. Everybody rah, rah, rah. Yeah, that's a fact, Tony Starks. And that's where you know that the times have changed. And that's how you know that, that's how you know that we still have ways of fixing that problem. We still got ways of fixing that problem. And that's people need to be more, you don't got to be so seclusive. Like I said, you go to Times Square right now and you will have a conversation with somebody. They'll talk to you. But if you go off of Times Square or you go somewhere else, they're going to look at you like, hey, yo, shorty, yo, you look nice. Those jeans, they really hugging you, you all right? Damn. You see what I'm saying? But if you was to text that on the phone, and put LOL next to it and put a laughing face, they will smile or laugh. That's crazy. If you say it to them straight up, because it was too real. That's why. It was too real. They used to messing with some fake dudes that talk on the text that's going to put something in their drink and they're going to get theirs no matter what. Realish facts. That's a fact, Mark. It's true. I used to do it all the time. Had to grow from it. Yeah. And it's bugged out because when I used to work marketing before, I used to build relationships with my team. You know, I was the manager and I had team leaders, you know, and they used to do the field work. It was the triangle system. Manager, team leader, 5 leaders, and you know how that goes, the triangle system. And I was building relationships all the time. There was times where I knock on the door, no lie. I'll knock on the door. I'll be like, boom, 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 boom. Who is it? Gas and electric. Who? Gas and electric. They open the door. How can I help you? I'm here because you received a message on the back of your bill and you failed to call the number right there. What bill? The light bill. I didn't get no message. If you get the bill, I'll show you. You missed it. Now, this person already don't want to talk to me because they don't want to talk to some guy that they probably think is a salesman. The hell this guy over here selling? What's he talking about my bill? But if your pitch is right enough and you make him go get that bill, then you got control of the rest of the situation. Because once you went and got that bill, and I showed it to her, what do you think she said next? Come inside. Right? They say, right? Sex. The word sex, S-E-X, is an acronym for smile, eye-to-eye contact, and excitement. Y'all heard? Smile, eye-to-eye contact, and excitement. Sex. If you do all 3, you're bound to get a positive response. You see what I'm saying? So now, if you go and you speak with somebody, right? And you be like this, you be like, yo, what's up, man? How you, man? You all right? They're looking at you like, yo, what's wrong with him? I don't want to talk to him because he don't look like he's having a good day. Put that one to the side. Hey, how you doing? Oh, man. Woo-wee. I don't know where the sun is at because I'm blinded from both spots, up and down. Now she's like, you trying to be funny? You ain't funny. Excuse me. You see what I'm saying? That when you look at those things, you be like, yo, hold up, man. Now she's just way too pompous. That's when they start getting the negative remarks. That's when dudes be like, oh, word? You too young to be wearing Jordache anyway. I didn't even know they still made that horse. From what I learned, it was a donkey. Then they get mad. They turn around, they be like, oh, you want to talk? It's the communication level has gotten to the point where it's challenging that. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be a challenge. Some people are single for so long and they wonder why they're single for so long. They need to look in the mirror. But they also need to say to themselves, am I the person that is not analyzing the way people are looking at me because I don't look at myself? You see what I'm saying? If you say anything on the text and you put an emoji next to it, the emoji is going to create the reaction because it gives the word. Salute, Miss Playful. It gives the word, it illuminates the word, should I say. But if you say that same word to a person physically, face to face, then the reaction is going to be different. It shouldn't. Should it be that way? Unless you're saying it in a way where your appearance is not looking right. But if your appearance is off the par, why should it differentiate from you saying it in a text with an emoji and you saying it face to face to the person? You ever think about that? I used to work security. I used to work security in it was like a bar lounge. No, it was a bar restaurant, and they converted to a little piece of it into a lounge, but you can't stay there that long. So I'm working there. Now, as I'm working there, there's a bunch of waitresses there. So I'm analyzing the waitresses, how the waitresses, how they get their tips and everything. And I just watch. Because I'm standing on the wall. I'm waiting for somebody to get out of line or out of character. Because I had to go to a school, get a bouncer's license. And I was working there and I was covered. I could get into any fight, anything, break somebody over the head, don't matter. I'm good. I don't got to worry about the police and none of that. I'm covered. I'm legit. So I'm looking at the waitresses and I look at how they go. They'll sit next to a dude, put their arm around them, say, hi, your cup is looking kind of empty. And the dude be like, yeah, I know. You want another drink? You see, I'm looking at all those things and I'm saying to myself, ooh, work it, girl. I see you work it. I'm not making any judgment because I know that she's hustling. I have no right to make a judgment on her. She's getting her money. Right? But as I'm looking, he said, this don't sound like no restaurant. Yo, the name of the spot is New Thriving. They got two of them. It's called New Thriving. And like I said, it's a half restaurant, and they got the bar too, where you order liquor. That's how it is in Brooklyn and Queens. I didn't really see them too much in the Bronx and Manhattan, but in Brooklyn and Queens, they got a lot of spots that are restaurants, but they got a bar area, and they sell liquor and beer. And you got these dudes that they come in and they'll sit there all day just drinking. And them girls, they'll go and they'll milk them with a little bit of affection and a little bit of gassing them up. They get everything. But why does she? Imagine she try to do that outside when the dude is sober. Is that going to work? You see what I'm saying? This is my whole point. We have gotten so bad in communication that, yeah, I know the sponsor Corona KO. We are so poor in communication that we don't really see that we alienate ourselves. And that's the reason why you have a lot of single people, and that's the reason why you have a lot of people who oppose each other. And that's true, happily married. The approach is everything, right? And I agree with that. Your approach is everything. But there's some people that it don't matter what your approach is. They're just on it. Straight on it. Let me tell you something. When I first got the job, when I first got my marketing job, I had just came home. And I had just came home, and I put in for a lot of other jobs that, you know, I didn't get those. But I went and got the job. So I go there, I got a suit on. The dude tells me what I gotta do. Now I know. So we go to the Bronx, and we go back there by Heath Avenue and all that, by 231st and all that, and we going through the buildings, and I noticed that he either saw that I was gonna do it, or he just wanted to put me on the spot because he saw the potential. But dude, he was supposed to stand by me while I'm knocking on the door in case I mess up. He's supposed to be my backup. The dude left me. He left me on my own, and he went on a booty call, yo. This was supposed to be my manager. But the dude bounced and went on a booty call or something. So I knock on the door. Bing, bing, bing. She ain't nobody answering. So I knock one more time. Bing, 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 because there's another door here and there's another door here. There's 3 apartments right here. So when I knock on the door, the second time, now, who is it? And I'm telling her, you know, the pitch that they gave me. She opens the door. She's wet in a towel. No clothes on. She's just wet in a towel. And I'm saying to myself, like, I forgot the pitch and all that. I forgot what I had to say. Because the way that she answered the door. When she opened the door, I was like this, like. She's like, yeah. Oh, yeah. She starts laughing. She's like, what are you selling? I'm like, I ain't selling nothing. But if I'm going to sell anything, I'm telling you right now, I'm selling life insurance, because I'll die if I have to leave here and not see what I'm seeing in a minute longer. She said, what? She said, boy, get in here. So I get inside, and I'm telling her what I'm there for. And the next thing I know, she hit me with the Sharon Stone, yo, crossed the legs. And you know, I saw what I saw, and I'm over here like this. I'm like, yo, man, this job, I'm about to lose this job right now. I'm about to get fired. ASAP Rocky, yo. Oh, whoa. Just came home too. This job about to go down the drain. So me and Shorty, we start kicking it, and she signed the papers and all that. So I got the deal done. The deal got done. Next thing you know, I was there, you know, because we started kicking. I was there, no lie, 7, 8 more times after that. Me and her became friends and a lot more. You know, KO say caveman instincts. Yo, he said caveman. Hey, yo, trust me, I ain't had no club. I wasn't on no Fred Flintstone. Didn't hit it over the head with the club. None of that. I was just in there kicking it. But I was being honest. I told her straight up, you know, in the middle of our conversation, I told her, I said, listen, this is my first job. You know what I mean? I just finished coming home. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a bad person. I don't steal, none of that. And she was dying laughing, and I'm dead ass serious. After that, like I said, we became friends and all that. And then I asked her if she knew anybody that needed help with their bill. And she started calling people, and I was going all around the building, going to her friend's house. She started pimping me. She was like, no, yo, he handsome. Oh my God, he is so handsome. Yo, I want to send him down there. Because every female that I went in that building, even a lot of them was a little older than me, a lot more older than me, some of them. Every female that I went in that building, they held me hostage. I stood in that building and I met around 12 people in that building that I later I became mad close to. And also, when I went back to the office the next day, this dude was expecting me to come back with nothing, or maybe one. I came back with 12. And within a week or two after that, I had his job. It's crazy. But the communication level is crazy. Because Melinda Castro said it's all on your approach. But you know what, Melinda? One thing I learned, sometimes you don't know which approach. You don't got time to master an approach sometimes. Sometimes you ain't got time. Sometimes it got so bad with communication nowadays. Sometimes you could be sitting in a restaurant and you're eating your food or you drinking. And the person is looking at you and you're like, I think she feeling me, dog. Nah, she ain't looking at you. Then who the hell she looking at, bro? She's looking at me, yo. Nah. I'm locking eyes with Shorty. She's looking at me, bro. But then Shorty gets up and walks away. What does that mean? Do you follow her outside? Because you know one thing that gets men? And don't nobody in here freestyle. I know some fake ass pimps are gonna start freestyling. Don't freestyle in here. But what gets men sometimes is when the female is with her friend. You don't want her to do you dirty in front of her friend, so you don't take the chance of hollering at her because you think that she's gonna try to play you in front of her friend. Look at that, Victor Collado laughing. He knows it's true. Also, Cinco, he knows it's true. I be knowing. I be knowing. Because nowadays, you know where you're really going to meet people and your communication is probably going to be a little more lucid? The club. And even in the club, sometimes you're going to get, depending what type of club you go to. That's why I used to go to raves. As funny as it sounds, I used to go to raves because when you go to raves, everybody's on the same lane. You come in the door, you pop the E, whop. Next thing you know, you flying just like everybody else. You ain't got to worry about anybody saying no. Because everybody in there is saying, yeah. Everybody in there is on yeah time. So it makes it all better. Right? Everybody's happy, right, Alan Chang? It makes it all better. I'm just keeping it real. Because when you go to a spot Well, some people are drunk, some people are not. Some people listen. Every time you go to, it ain't like you see it in the movies. Don't get it twisted. How you see it in the movies that you go to the bar and you sit down next to the chick and you be like, "Hi, how you doing?" They still be having that even in the bar sometimes. They'll look at you like, "Damn, looks like you ain't doing good." Yo, get her a drink for me. I got that. Oh, why you buying me a drink for? Listen, I see that you're not in a good mood, so I'm just trying to help you out. Who told you I'm not in a good mood? Maybe I just don't want to talk to your ass. Excuse me. Damn. We already waving the white flag like you got that one. I'm out of here. I'm out of here, bro. I'm not messing with that. Hell no. I'm not messing with that. And you got some dudes that be like, yo, those are the best ones. Those are the best ones. I'm telling you, they the best ones. Well, if you could get past that, more power to you. There goes my emoji. But some of them, when you walk away from them, when you walk away from them, they start feeling bad. One day I was at the bar and I said, oh, we was drinking Incredible Hopes. So I'm drinking Incredible Hopes, but I remember my brother told me about a drink called the Four Horsemen. So the chick is sitting next to me, and I asked the waitress, I said, excuse me, can you give me a Four Horsemen? And she was like, a what? I said, a Four Horsemen. She's like, I don't even know what that is. I said, you don't know what a Four Horsemen is? I said, it's Jack Daniels, Hennessy, Jim Beam, and Jose Cuervo. The Four Cowboys. You already know how that goes. She was like, oh, whatever. She gives me the drink. When I drink the drink, I tell somebody next to me, I'm like, yo, I got 4 horses. That means that I'm on Mustang time right now. She looks at me and she goes, what? She says, you better get out of here. Better leave me alone. I said, alone? Then I started hitting her with the Lionel Richie. I'm not even going to have to go through that. Once I said, is it me? She looked at me and she was like, oh, I know you're not going to do that. I said, since you unhappy, I'm either going to make you happy or make you more miserable. So she says, oh, I need another drink. I said, all right, I'll get your drink if you get mine. She said, okay. So I got her a drink. And then when it came to mine, I saw her walking away. So I said, oh, okay, I see it, death in the family. And as I'm walking away, she goes, what? What did you say? Did you just say something about my family? I said, no, I just said, I know how some people, they get on some death in the family stuff. They get all depressed and stuff. And, I don't want no problems with you, man. I hope you enjoyed that drink, man. You have a good day, man. Man, she came back, sat down, and said, I'm going to buy you a drink. You're not going to play me. I was like, oh, okay, excuse me. Man. The hell is this? Basic Instinct over here? Sharon Stone? Come on, bro. Man. The communication is so poor nowadays, man. Communication is poor. A lot of us won't admit it, but the communication is poor. Your girl was tripping. Yeah, she was tripping, but she was cool afterwards, man. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, a lot of times we gotta blame ourselves for our lack of communication, as well as others. Sometimes a no isn't a no, and sometimes a no is a no. You know what I'm saying? And when we're better at communication, we'll have better things will be more better with better communication. Even in relationship, it's poor. That's why relationships don't last long but a hot minute. Yeah, it's true. It's true because communication is, you need that. KO said the art of psychological warfare. Actually, I'm going to give you the definition of it. It's called the attitude of indifference. I'm teaching you a game right now. Sooner or later, I'm going to ask for, I'm start charging for this. Because they say the game is to be sold, not to be told. Y'all already know about that. But yeah, I gave it called the attitude of indifference. And the attitude of indifference, strangely, is more effective than when you show more courtesy. And that is so crazy, yo. That is so crazy. So this is why I say a lot of people will blame all these higher powers, and they will blame all these secret societies and all this other stuff that they saying. Salute, Julius Towing. Salute, bro. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I gotta start charging them, Junior. Know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna go out there and they're gonna start spitting wildcat gems, and they're gonna be having babies all over the place, and I'm gonna be a step parent. You heard? But I love kids, so I don't care, man. You can have as many kids as you want to. I love kids. But like I was saying, right? Yo. That's a fact, bro. I'm telling you. It's a fact. Ready to explode, Markel Thomas. That's a fact. Yeah, and psychological warfare. Yo, what up? Let's talk about it in the building. Murder to the Billy. Billy to the murder. So, communication is very important, man. Instead of us looking around for the puppet master, we got to learn how to be better men and women and not be puppets. And the reason why I say that is because we may blame other people for the cause of our own calamity, but in all actuality, it's us. It's us that we got to look at. It's us that we got to analyze, and it's us that we got to improve. Once we improve us, then we see the differences in our actions. It's hard to see them now because everybody is used to a certain system. Everybody is used to texting. Everybody is used to that type of stuff. They're not used to people, hi, how you doing? They're not used to that. And because they're not used to that, we got to get them in tune to that. Nah, I know Peter Lopez. You my dude, bro. Stop it. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say Jesse Jackson was the same race as Martin Luther King. But it wasn't his race that caused the differences. It wasn't his race that made people see Jesse Jackson for who he was. It was his actions. See what I'm saying? His actions. What was in his heart? It was larceny in his heart. It wasn't, they say, they blame a lot of governmental stuff, with the assassination of Malcolm X, when he had beef with rival other religious factors. That came from hatred. That came from hatred because they see hatred amongst people in themselves. That hatred becomes the best weapon to utilize against the masses. And we express that hatred every day to each other. When outside, you can't even speak to someone without that person thinking that you're up to no good. You see how it all coincides? It all fits together. That's my main thing that I was trying to say, yo. And that's the main thing. That was my main message that I wanted to reiterate today. We are worth more than we know. That's why they push race war propaganda on the news daily. That's a fact. Nine to the hat, $ facts. See what I'm saying? So when we have the opportunity and abilities to make changes, let's not just think about the changes that are in amongst ourselves. Let's see how those changes affect others around us. Because that's when we really see the successes of those changes. But first, before anything, you got to be willing to change. And you got to be willing to see these things. That's the reason why I spoke about everything today systematically, from history to these days and times and to things that we have gone through. And I've shown through proof that we lack so much communication that it's easy to infiltrate us. It's easy to lead us astray because we lack so much communication, yo. Sacrifice is correct, Melinda Castro. And shout out Ladybug, Lady Bizzle. They want us fighting with each other. They play divide and conquer on the different races. Yeah, that's a fact. So, yo, I'm going to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because we've been on here for going on 2 hours. But, you know, I just wanted to kick it with everybody, man, and make sure that we stay in tune with each other. Make sure that every time we come here, we're here to learn. We're here to express. If anybody got a problem and you need help, hit me. I got you. Shout out Nitro Active. I see you. That was a good win you had today. That was mighty easy, though, but that was a good win. I like that song, too, you use. That's a fact. Sometimes you got to sacrifice to be relevant. You know, Nitro Active, I'm up there. Know what I mean? But I just want everybody to know, man, unity, man. Let's preach unity, yo. Let's be more people and less projects, you heard? We don't gotta be the next person's project. We gotta be people who are trying to go somewhere in life. You know what I'm saying? And with that, I gotta get up out of here. I love everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming through. Just remember one thing, man. I got your back. Not way back. I'm here. Appreciate you, Junior's Towing. Junior's Towing came through. Know what I mean? Hmm. Hmm. I might as well put the this is the beat to the song I got coming out. Thank you, Julius Towing. This is a joint to the my EP coming out next month. Be on the lookout for the EP. It's 5 songs. I'm gonna put them on here. That's how we doing that. As far as digging in the crates, I gotta figure out how I can do it. I'm gonna have to get permission or find out how I get permission or whatnot. But I'll send my creation. I'll send it to everybody in their DM so they can check out and see what I had. But I can't post it on YouTube because I gotta follow the rules. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I leave everybody. I love y'all. Y'all already know the Wildcat is in the building. You know what I'm saying? And the Wildcat is out of the building.
Based on the blockbuster that has critics craving, it's the all-new